If you're just getting started with vegan baking and baking without eggs, you need to keep watching because I'm about to tell you the most basic rules that are guaranteed that you have some success in the kitchen. Whether you're a new vegan making your first cake without eggs and butter, or maybe you're a seasoned baker, you know your way around the kitchen, but you're taking on this new challenge of baking vegan, I'm telling you these are the rules that you need to know in order to avoid disasters like these. Yeah. Not so proud of those. Those were just a few of the many disasters that I had in the kitchen when I first started vegan baking. We've come a long way since. Now I'm the owner of an award-winning vegan bakery where I make everything taste just like or better than the real deal. And as part of my mission and the mission of this channel, I try to demystify vegan baking because some people think it's like a superpower and only a very special chosen few can do. That's not true. If I can do it, anyone can do it, as long as you follow some simple rules. So today I'm breaking down my top 3 rules of vegan baking that if you follow, you're guaranteed to have some success. Are you ready? Let's do this. Number 1, do not use flavored non-dairy milk. That's a classic rookie mistake because you think, I'm making a vanilla cake. Vanilla extract usually goes into a recipe for a cake. I might as well just use some vanilla almond milk. Do not do it. Here's the thing, you think that vanilla is just going to add to the flavor, but in reality the added sugars in that milk are going to throw your recipe all out of whack. And then most likely your cake is either going to collapse or burn. Just not a good idea. Always stick with unflavored non-dairy milks. And if you're unsure what kind of non-dairy milk you should use, I have a whole playlist, this one right over here, where I tested pretty much every kind of non-dairy milk there is on a cake. If not all of them, we're pretty close. There's a lot for you to choose from, and then you can kind of make a decision based on that. Spoiler alert, my personal favorite and that I always use in my cakes is the unflavored almond milk. Plain and simple, works like a charm. Second rule is to check your labels oh so carefully. So here's the thing, you don't realize this until you're vegan or you're baking vegan, but they put milk powder on everything. So whenever you're buying ingredients, you have to check the label for those sneaky non-vegan ingredients. So that includes milk powder. All kinds of packaged things have milk powder in it. There's whey, which is another dairy product. Gelatin is a big one for baking, and that's made with pork bits. You do not want to know. You do not want to know. Now, a nice hack if you don't want to spend your time reading all of the ingredients in a label, because sometimes there's quite a few of them, is to check out the very last line on the ingredients list. So brands are required by law to list any allergens that are in their foods, and dairy and meat products are one of those allergens. So if the product has any dairy or any meat, it should list under that contains line. So you just want to be on the lookout for anything like that on that very last line. The gelatin though, you need to check the entire list for. Sorry. It's inconvenient, but we must deal. And the third and arguably the most important rule when you're just getting started with vegan baking is to not veganize your favorites. At least not right away. Your instinct is to get that recipe that you're already familiar with and to just make it vegan. I don't know how to break this to you, but yeah, you're not ready for that yet. I've talked about it here on the channel so many different times, but veganizing a recipe is not just about replacing the eggs or the butter or the dairy with a vegan equivalent. It's about recreating a chemical reaction that occurred when all of those things were in the recipe. And frankly, you're just not ready to do that yet. You don't know how vegan ingredients react, you don't know how the vegan baking chemistry works, and that's more of an advanced stage. You'll get there. Believe me, you will get there. I have a whole playlist here on the channel called Vegan Baking for Beginners that breaks down more into detail this whole replacement and chemical reaction thing, so you can study up on that later. But for now, just start with an originally vegan recipe, follow that, and you'll be fine. I have a whole lot of them here on the channel. I'll link them in the description below. Now, if you're feeling a little overwhelmed by all of these rules and these new things that you have to learn, I'm gonna finish it off with a little bonus tip that's going to set your mind at ease, hopefully. Some of the old rules still apply. Greasing your pans every time, not over mixing your batter, those are all things that still apply to vegan baking that apply to regular baking as well. So it's not a completely different world you're embarking in, it's just making little tweaks in your process and your ingredients that are gonna make vegan baking a little different than what you're used to. Now, if you want more tips on vegan baking, I actually have put together my top 10 tips for beginner vegan bakers because I had nothing like this when I first started, and you saw what happened. So you can download that for free. I'll put that in the description below. And if you liked this video and you thought it was helpful, please give it a like, and you might want to consider subscribing to the channel as well. I'm here every week with new tips, recipes, and hacks. And if you want to know what I did to go from those disasters in the kitchen to owning an award-winning vegan bakery, you might want to check out this video over here. I break down all the steps that I took to really master vegan baking. I will see you guys here next week with a new video. Until then, stay curious.